Yeah, good day, guys. My name is Abdul Kabir Akinlabi. So we are welcome to a new aspect of our course, programming with PHP. So today we remember we did if statement whereby you'll be selecting certain condition based on based on the the condition, certain code to run based on the condition. So today we are going to talk about switch. But before I talk about switch, let me, because this thing, the way I do my own course is to make sure you know when to use particular thing and when not to use it. You see, and we are starting from the difficult thing or something that is useless to something that is very useful. So that's the reason why we start with else if, where you are selecting different condition. Let me take for instance, if I want something to come out based on the name I'm supplying. You want a kind of result to come out on student report based on the scores he has. You want, you understand, you want something to come out based on the value of a variable. Take for instance, you remember we used to say something like this. If maybe you declare a variable, if student is equals to maybe sikiru, si sikiru, are you getting it? We talked about the code that is going to run. We say echo blah blah blah, sikiru is this. Are you getting it? We terminate. So we used to say else if this student stud variable is equals to, or is equivalent to, we are also going to talk about operators, but I believe that I need to talk about this switch statement before the operator. So now we said if is equals to Alex. Let's take for instance, we want we want to echo Alex is this and that. Let me tell you something. In this if else statement, there is no way you want to write some certain condition. This NEPA, what's it called, Nigerian factor. You can see the NEPA has taken the light. So let me continue. So when you have Alex is this, so you continue to write else if based on you, and you be repeating this variable. But in a switch statement, let me I've written the code already. Let me reduce the this thing because that's what will make it to be clearer. You can see switch is used when you want to perform different action based on different conditions. Let's take for instance, if you are computing results. Sometimes if you have average score, so you can switch that variable average score, that if average score is 60, it should bring, okay, average. If it is less than 50, it should bring this. You can even write different conditions based on different switching. Let me explain this code to you. Take for instance, I have switch statements here. There is no way I have to reduce the this thing here like this. So let me remove this h2 tag because I use that to explain the, what's it called now, so that it will be clearer. I declared a variable stud. Are you getting it? You remember I told you that variable is used to store data. So I declared a variable stud. Maybe let me pass Alex inside the variable Alex. So I now switch this variable. I switch it. This is how you have to follow this syntax. Normally I supposed to do, I told you I'm going to do ternary operator, but I now remember that if I should do that ternary operator before this course, you may get confused. So but you have to master this also, so when you get to ternary operator, you will get it better. So now you now say switch. What are you switching? Even ordinarily in our electricity, this thing, when you say switch, when you on it, that means the light should on, and when you switch it down, the light should off. Now let us switch this variable stud here. We are going to use this stud once. Switch stud means that everything we want to talk about here is what? Is about stud. you can see that I only declared one block of code which starts from here and ends here, unlike else if that you have to be writing these curly braces. Now if you not be switching different cases, are you getting it? Switch case, you can write a code here, maybe probably if this one is average score, if the average score is less than this, something should happen, then you should break. Because if it not break it, it should not look to when it gives you the answer of this one, it should not come again. So when it give this answer, it's going to lump up together. So what we are saying here is I want to switch stud. So case Sikiru, that means that if I should pass Sikiru here, if I put Sikiru here, it should echo he is a good student asking ambiguous question, because Sikiru, whenever there is a question that he needs to answer, is going to ask it. So anything ambiguous for him, you ask it. So good teacher he is. You can see I terminated my PHP. So imagine someone who does not know PHP will not know that you have to terminate something here. So that is that. So that means that you don't need to be forgetting everything you are learning. They will be mingled together. So after that you break, means that I'm through with this case. Please, I want you to take I want you to follow this in. That's why I like to repeat. We want to switch different conditions of stud. The different situation stud variable can be. So that's why we say switch stud, this variable stud. Now in case this stud is what? Sikiru, you should bring this, you should run this code. If we are doing during our in this course or in this particular topic of switching, the task we'll be doing, I'm going to change, because I'm passing a string here. When we come to data type, you know the difference between string and other data types. So I will be passing different things here. It could be a code, it could be different conditions. So now when you have something like this, so case Sikiru, you should do this. If the case is Aziz, you should echo this and break. Remember I used to put break. That means the equivalent of this one is, if you are saying if stud is equals to Sikiru, you should echo this. Else if stud is equals to Aziz, you should echo this. Else if stud is equals to Ahmad, you should echo this. Else if stud is equals to Ali, you should echo this. You can see I did for Bright, I did for Alex. I was trying to do another one so that I can put that so that it can be completed for I'm putting my student's name here. I want to put it for Wako also. I just decided, okay, the something will be longer because he is the one that used to tell me that he is not seeing my screen. So that's why I decided to remove his name so that the screen will be wider. So you can see different conditions that we are given here. Case Sikiru, case Aziz, case. So that means that what are we expecting? That means that if I should put Aziz here, so he is going to come to this side. He's going to come here to load just this code. So you can see the advantage of this one over else if statement. You have to be repeating in else if statement. You have to repeating this code, and in this one you can decide to write different codes here to ascertain certain conditions. Now I need to explain this code. That's why I'm spending much time here because before running it. Now look at, I have switched Aziz now, so he's going to come here. If I should switch Ahmad, he's going to come here. Now let me run it, so you can see a good leader and teacher who is focused. You can see this. If you should check Aziz, you can see echo a good leader and teacher who is focused. So that is switch statement. Now if I should change this thing to what? To Ahmad. If I change this one to Ahmad and refresh this, you see sometimes he is very stubborn. So you can see different switch statements. If I change it to Ali, it's going to give different condition. And don't forget to always break. And don't forget that every echo statement you end it with semicolon, or every statement in PHP. So those are then another thing that is very important is these defaults. Default means that if any of this one is just like the last else statement in PHP, the else. So maybe you should say I don't recognize these students. So that is else statement. So that means that if I should supply a name that is not recognizable, let me put my name here. You should tell me that, hey, I don't recognize these students. So you can see the switch statement. So now PHP will now, the reason why I always like to mingle past work, present work, and mingle HTML together with PHP is because I want us to get it right. So now let us now include PHP here. This stud we are declaring, let us pass it inside a form. I have a form here already. I think I should have a form. Yes, I have a form here. So I want to put a PHP here, HTML, sorry. So now then this stud will now be the global variable. Remember that, okay, let me come from here. Form. If you don't know form, action switch, method post, then that means you have to go back to our HTML course. I will continue to repeat that. So if you can't cope with this, you need HTML knowledge. So input text, name is stud. So I will now pass a global variable to handle, instead of me passing the this thing directly, to post what? This thing, stud. Don't forget the name of, if I put students here, so that means I have to put students here also. So that means that this variable is going to be for here. It's going to hold anything we write inside this place. So that's the meaning. So I don't know, let me check my HTML if it is right. So yes, I have something like this here. So if I should write Kabir here, I think it should tell me I don't recognize the students. But if I should put Alex here, Alex is among the best students who also try to catch up with lessons. Keep it up, son of. You can see all these things. Ahmad, sometimes he's very stubborn. Ali, this one is easier. Ali could be good at using different text editor. I like his code. You understand? I'm just putting all these things fictitious information. So let's assume I want to put Ibrahim's name also. That means I will just have to copy this another case. So another case of what? Ibrahim or Wako. So I think Wako is, so the reason why I don't want to put in before Wako, Ibrahim is a good student as well. That means if I should put Wako here inside this place, it will not recognize it now. It say Wako Ibrahim is a good student as well. So this switch statement is used to check the value of this variable here based on different conditions you have here. You can decide to put, and you have here, you can decide to put maybe something is less than, do some calculations here, mathematical calculation here. Case, maybe let's assume that score, we have score sheets here. This one is average score. So we now say if average score is less than or equals to this, you should bring average here. This is where we are going to write the code. It doesn't mean necessarily that it's not necessary that it's not a must that we must put a string here. So we can decide to say, okay, stud is less than or equals to 70, then this thing should occur. In fact, we can put a set of code here which we are moving at for the task that I will be sending on this switch course. So I hope you get this lesson. It's very, very important, very short but important. The reason why is that there is no way you'll be writing your program, even though you are writing your programs with else if statement and you are able to do something better, but you cannot be writing else if. You cannot be an employee of a company and you be writing else if. No, you have to be moving forward, because this one is easier. By the time we go further also, we are also going to have something that is easier than this. So you can see the way we are switching these cases. So expect those tasks in the classroom. I think I'm going to give based on the returns of this. If you are able to do something better, try and do something based on, when we release the lesson, we expect that you do it and do something that is different. So in switching, after seeing a good number of maybe like 3 people, then we can do task. So that task we give different solutions or different problem that we can use switch statement to solve. So it will be better if we are turning up all this work as earlier as possible. So that is it for switch statement. So I hope you get it. So thank you very much.